Hi, I'm Don from DonDronesOn, and today I'm going to retake the Canadian RPAS Advanced Pilot Certification exam. And I'll just say it up front, I've done this before and I surprisingly passed. But this time I'm even less confident than last time. I don't know why, just maybe I'm getting older, can't remember stuff. I've done no preparation particularly other than I'll show you what I've got up on my screen. I am, of course, immersed in this stuff on pretty much a daily basis. So I know my stuff. I'm very confident about that. It's not really that. It's more the, what are the weird questions that they're going to throw at me and so forth. Now, why am I retaking this exam? So I have done this before, as I said, to sort of do a checkpoint on how Transport Canada has been improving the exam experience in terms of the questions and things like that. So they have taken out some dumb questions after DPAC has asked for them to do so, and I'm going to check to make sure that that's been done. For example, there should be no questions about hypoxia in this exam. I've been assured 9 times to Wednesday that there are no hypoxia questions left, so I'll be watching for that. Otherwise, just for fun, for education, so that you can see what it's like to take the exam. Now, when I do this, I'll be recording myself with this camera right here, and I can't show you the questions. I can't speak the questions out loud. I'll try to give you as much information as I can about what the question is about and maybe the format of the question, but I cannot repeat specific elements of the question. It's part of the confidentiality agreement, if you like, when you're taking the exam. And I'll read that out when we get to that on the screen. The exam is $10 per attempt. You can make one attempt every 24 hours. For the advanced exam, which is the one I'm doing, I have 1 hour to complete it. There will be 50 multiple point questions. I have to get 80% of them right. So I've got a small margin of error there. It is an open book exam, so to help me, I have 2 screens. One screen here is where I'll be doing the exam, and over here is my reference material. So in terms of reference material, I have a web browser screen up there, separate from the web browser that'll be, or a separate window from the web browser that I'll be actually doing the exam, so they don't get mixed up, they don't have, they're not swapping around. On that, I have a generic window, or a generic tab, so I can query stuff. I have the Transport Canada drone safety webpage up because last time I got nailed with a question about fines, and the only place you can find that is on that site. I've also got the AIM on that browser, but I've also downloaded the entire PDF for the AIM, not just the RPA chapter, but the entire PDF, and I'll get to that now. So what have I got in terms of PDFs open? Well, as I said, I've got the AIM document, the full one. I've got the AIM document, just the remotely piloted aircraft RPA chapter. I'm not sure why I did that too. Maybe it'll be faster to search. That's what I was thinking. And then I've got 2 of my own guides. And I know you're going to say, oh, you're just trying to sell your study guides. Well, I'm the kind of guy who flies his own jets. So the last time I did this, I ended up consulting both of those guides a couple of times. I wouldn't say I did it a lot, but that's because I know this stuff. So I've got my, where are they? Whoa, where are they? I've got my study guide for the advanced exam open. That's a PDF of about 400 pages or something. And I've got the Don's Guide to the Canadian Regulations. That's the one that goes through each regulation page by page with an English language interpretation beside it. All right, so that's what I've got in terms of reference material. I also have a sheet of paper. I didn't do this last time and I kicked myself. With 3 lists, basically, already with kind of I'll just show you. I got guesses, I've got uncertain, so I'm going to mark down the question number and maybe the little topic, and a list of acronyms and terms that I wasn't familiar with, so that I can add to the study guides. All right, so I'm ready to go. I've got my phone set on Do Not Disturb. I've got a thing of water here. and I'm already sweating and I haven't even started yet. So I'm just going to pause the video at this point so that I can log in and pay my $10, and then I'll see you again in a few minutes when I have actually pushed that button. So I'm ready to go. I've paid my $10 for the exam, and I'm at the point where I can start it. I do want to repeat that on the screen it says, I will not copy, transmit, distribute, share, record, or post any exam questions or responses electronically, digitally, or by any other means to or for anyone. So that's what I mean by the confidentiality thing. You can't distribute this stuff. All right. So I'm hitting the Start Exam button now. All right, question 1 is about time zones. And what we need to know is right? I think that's right. Not certain. Oh my God, on the very first one. Well, this is an uncertain one. So question 1, time zones. Question 2. Oh, and by the way, for each question, it tells you what question number you're on. It gives you in the top right the time remaining. And it also shows a little schematic of your 50 questions down there. Questions you have answered are gray. The current one is highlighted in dark, looks like a dark blue. And then anything that I haven't answered is in yellow. Be sure to answer all of your questions, because there's no penalty for getting it wrong, other than you just didn't get it right. So this question is about METARs, which are, of course, meteorological aviation information. Again, not totally certain, because the answers are all very, very similar. So I'm going to put my answer down and continue. Question number 3. All right, so this talks about what you should do if you're flying your drone and you run into something. First question is true. Second answer is not true. Third question is not true. And the fourth question is not true. So it's the first one. All right, question number 4. So they're talking about your actual remote control and what the function might do. Now that's interesting, because not all remote controllers have that kind of function, and in fact I would say the majority do not. Okay, so you kind of have to know what that function is and what it would do. I think it's fairly obvious. This is not for DJI drones anyway, but there we go. Question number 5. They're talking about electronic devices and their potential for, what you might want to avoid in terms of when you're flying and having these things sitting around. And I'll just give you a hint here, or a tip. If you're, absolutely uncertain and you want to make a guess, pick the longest question. Pick the longest answer. It's surprising how often that's the right answer. Okay, this is a risk assessment sort of question, how to deal with risk. Now, you might think that's a pretty dubious topic, but not really. And when you read through the answers, there are obvious ones that are almost laughable. And so the correct answer is fairly obvious. That was question 6. Question 7. You're talking to the control tower, and the air traffic control has asked you to do something. Now, this is very interesting because we're not actually supposed to activate. This is about. Okay, this is about radio communication. Interesting. Okay, this one's a guess because I don't know what this is, and I'm not certain that we're even allowed to do this. Certainly, it's specifically around talking about transponders, not transceivers. And so there's very, very limited cases where you're allowed to do that. So anyway, continuing on. Okay, so we're talking about this is density altitude. You always have to know your density altitude. And the bottom line is the thicker the air, the better you are in terms of how your aircraft will operate. So they're giving us inches of mercury, and 4 of them, and obviously your performance will be best at either the highest number or the lowest number, because they're all within kind of reasonable range. So you want your barometric pressure to be higher. So, interesting. They're not even in order. I almost picked the bottom one because it looked like the highest one, but it's not actually the highest one. Okay. Question number 9. Theory of flight, lift. I hope they don't say Bernoulli. Okay. Nice. So this is a good good question and a good set of answers, and they don't mention Bernoulli in there, which is fantastic. Just double checking that there's not a trick in here. No, we're all good. We're all good. I have 52 minutes and 40 questions left, so I guess I'm ahead of the curve a bit. All right, so in this case, we're showing a aeronautical chart, a VFR chart, and we're being asked a question, and the answers are all combinations of letters. Oh, I see. There's letters marked on the VFR chart, the letters A, B, C, and D, and you have to pick which combination of letters are in some way correct. Okay. So it's actually a basic question, a basic operation, not an advanced operations question. But, you really do need to know both. And it says which of the, well, I can't really tell you what the question's about, but it's related to where the letter is and should you be able to fly there or not. That one's a no. That one's a... Oh, that's kind of a tricky one. That one's a yes, though. That one's a yes. And that one's a yes. Wait a minute. They don't have that combination. Which may you operate? Am I missing something here? Okay, so that one's clearly off the table. And by the way, it's Toronto, so it's... What am I seeing here? Oh, tricky. Okay, so you have to look really close because there's one little gotcha. And this is classic why you shouldn't be using a VFR chart when you're flying your drone, because there are little gotchas. If you were using an app like Drone Pilot Canada, I know, blatant ad here, but if you were, it would tell you immediately whether you can fly there or not. Even NavDrone would tell you. Okay, question 11. This is a weather question. It's related to temperature and altitude. I don't know why you need to know that particular terminology, but whatever. Question 12. Okay, so in this case, It's asking about entering controlled airspace. You do not have a radio, and what you need to do. And there is a piece of an acronym thrown in here, which I'm just going to quickly Google. All right, so the term was VMC, which is Visual Meteorological Conditions. All right, so this is some sort of a meteorological question related to temperature and stuff like that. And you're supposed to know this specific number. I'm just going to Google it. And the answer is immediately there. Not going to waste time on that. All right, time remaining 46 minutes. I'm on question 14. It's talking about night flight. So this is a pretty basic one. And the answer is that one. Question 15. We're talking about batteries. So this is a, what do they call that? Basically the understanding of how your drone works. But again, why do you need to know that particular thing about lithium batteries? I mean, really. I have to say I'm pretty confident about this, but I'm going to just mark it down. Okay, question 16. Am I recording? Oh, good. You hit the red button. Interesting, they refer to advanced operations rules as the advanced operations structure. I think that's odd to put that in there. It might be a translation issue. Yeah, so that one's pretty obvious once you walk through it. Question 17. What? Okay, this is talking about altimeters, and I have no idea. I'm going to just totally guess, and we'll have to check this one for sure. Well, maybe we'll just Google it. What the hell? I'll tell you, the fact that they now have an AI overview is extremely helpful. So it gives me the generic answer, but it doesn't give me a specific. And no, I'm not going to trust an answer that's found on Reddit. Sorry. Oh dear, I've definitely spent way too much time on this. Okay, so I've guessed what the answer is, and we'll come back to it. Question 18. That's definitely a guess. That's my first one to look back at. Question 18. Well, that's kind of so this is related to mandatory actions. So understanding that kind of stuff and the impact on your flight. I'm going to say that because that's safer, I'll say. Okay, question number 19. So that's another tip. If in doubt, pick the answer that is the most safe or most conservative, generally speaking. Okay, so they're offering 4 options, and we need to pick one that is true regarding beyond visual line of sight. First one's ludicrous. Second one's even more ludicrous. In fact, sounds like, oh, I see. Interesting. Third one is obviously the right answer, and the fourth one is silly. Okay, so yeah, a lot of complication for an obvious answer. Question 20. I have 40 minutes left, and I'm not quite halfway through, not yet halfway through. This is related to being near an aerodrome. Okay, there's a lot of weird comments in there, but the answer is obvious. Question 21, I'm just kind of rushing a little bit now. They're talking about visual observers. And the answer is the most reasonable, and oddly, I think it's the shortest one in this case. So if you're guessing, that would have been a bad choice to pick the longest answer. Okay, now we're talking about a particular hunk of thing on a piece of the structure of an aircraft. What the heck does it do? Yeah. It was an easy one. All right, so this is talking about ending your flight. And it offers you 3 very specific things. You know, you can't be any faster than this and all the rest. And the answer is, again, the most sort of sensible thing. Here's a radio question. And that's funny because they use the expression Industry Canada, which of course is not what it's called. It's ISED, whatever ISED stands for. I'm sure I'll put it up on the screen here. But they don't use ISED in the question or the answer. Okay, question 25. I'm now halfway through. I got 37 minutes left. Okay, it's a weather question. And, oh God, got a bunch of clouds and they're moving. I don't know, and who cares? I'm guessing on that one, so I have to check it. 25. Oh, I should know. Okay, these are all high clouds. So if you knew your cloud names, which I do, I would have noticed that these were all relatively high clouds. So that has something to do with it. Question 26. Related to bystanders. Bystanders. To be overflying over bystanders. All right. Definitely the longest answer. Question 27. Okay, you're calibrating a piece of the electronics on your drone. Choose the one that represents a risk of. Okay, so the risk of, okay. So we want to pick the one that's the worst. Oh, come on. We're in Canada. One of the answers has to do with the equator. All right, okay, so I should note that down too. Question 28. Air traffic controller. What? The air traffic controller is telling you what to do on a runway. Oh, for God's sakes. Oh, it really has nothing to do with what the air traffic controller is telling you. It's something else. Okay, so let me just work this out. And I can't remember about runway numbers, stupidly. So I've done a Control F in my study guide, and I'm just looking up information about runway. Oh, there's my METAR story. That's what I thought. Question 29. Okay, so this is another question about ending your flight. Question 30. Okay, so this is a human factors one. So it's likely to be very subjective. Totally subjective. All right, so back to drone stuff. You're flying your drone. You're in... can't say too much about this. This is the simplest question ever. Just note your altitude story and you're good to go. Question 32. Again, this should be super simple. This is to do with you versus a manned aircraft. This is a radio question about what a particular acronym associated with a radio frequency means. This is question 34 is now about aviation documents, what you are allowed to do with them and not do with them. I like that. You know, I wish I could read that. All right, so this is to do with a piece of equipment on an RC aircraft and how you know that it has failed. Question 36 is talking about transmitting on an aviation radio, which, of course, at this point in time, you're never allowed to do because of ISED not issuing licenses. That said, it's in the information what you're supposed to do in this situation. The next one is a weather question. Question 38 is, okay, so we've got a CFS listing here for an aerodrome, and it says who you gonna call. And this is okay. So this is wrong, and I've reported this before. They use the expression permission to fly at an aerodrome or operate at an aerodrome, and it's not permission. You're just coordinating your flight. So anyway, yeah. So wait a minute. What are we being asked? This is, by the way, a case where you need a big screen because, you know, the CFS listing is actually pretty big, and I actually had to scroll to get to the answer section of this question. All right, so this is flying a drone in dark-ish environment. Oh, it's a human factors question. Yeah, you're going to wear sunglasses. Question 40, I have 27 minutes left. What? Oh. It's kind of reference to the Canadian Space Agency, which kind of threw me off. Know your KP index stuff, although they're not being, you know, there's no gray area on the answers, which is good. All right, so this is to do with theory of flight and magic thing when you're turning. All right, so I actually have a video about this, so hopefully I got it right. I'm not going to watch the video now. All right, question 42. I got 26 minutes remaining. They show a map. It's not a VFR map. It looks like a map out of a... Oh, wait a minute. What is this? Anyway, choose the... What? Oh, I see. It is a VFR chart. It's just in black and white, and it's got things marked on it, or well, there's things on it, and they want you to know how what this particular thing is called. You know what? It's so darn small. I'm doing a Control Plus to boost my screen up so I can actually see it. And Control 0 to set myself back. Yeah, I couldn't see the symbol beside the word. I can see the word, but I can't see the symbol. And so, yes, got it. And we shouldn't need to know that. Question 43. So this is talking about flying and where would you find that? Oops, I probably said too much. Okay, question 44. This is about SFOCs and weight. Question 45. Talking about, again, entering a control zone. Okay, one question is just dumb. The other question is no. Or sorry, I keep saying question. The last question, the last answer is wrong. The first answer is wrong. So it's between the two of them. And you're not allowed to do the one thing because you're not allowed to talk on the radio. So yeah, that seems, I don't know. The terminology is a little odd. Question 46. Yeah, so this is a maintenance question. Again, one of these mandatory action sort of things. Question 47. We're talking about weather and visibility. And the answer is obvious, and it is also the longest. Question 48, just saying. This is a question about responsibilities, crew member responsibilities for a particular situation. That was question 48. I've answered that. Now question 49. And this is a very simple one related to a very basic rule. And I'm just looking to see if there's some better answers. Last question. I've got 22 minutes left. Okay, this is another maintenance thing. And asking who you're going to trust, basically. Ooh. Don't hit finish when you get to your last one because you haven't actually gone back to check. All right, so we're going to go back and we're going to check number 25 specifically, which is related to a weather question. And it's interesting because you can't query this particular thing. Okay, so that's interesting, and I guess I should have known that if I had thought about it. So I'm going to change my guessed answer. So that's good. That's off my list. Oh yeah. Question 7, I had a question about. So it's very easy to navigate to a specific question if you've noted down which one to go to. Yes, so I got that one good. I guessed correctly based on elimination more than anything else. So that's good. I've got, where's my thing? 20 minutes left. Yeah, okay, so this is the one about accuracy of altimeters. Wow, this is going to be hard to find. And again, why do we have to know this? Oh, there we go. I should actually looked for the exact question is here. Unfortunately, the number they give. Oh, okay. So they give one of the other ones, and actually, I guessed that one. So, all right, good, yay! And now I've got number 27 marked down as a guess as well, but I don't remember why. This is to do with calibration, and it's not that one. So it must be this one. That's really weird. Wonder why they're... Well, I don't know why that would be. Okay, so I'm just basically going through my notes and checking the ones that I was a little worried about. Oh yeah. The METAR one. And I'm going back to my study guide on this one. All right, and this was question... Oh, the very second question. And by the way, this can really throw you off if one of your early questions you are uncertain about or you get wrong or something. All right, so I'm looking at my METAR page in my study guide and trying to find the things that they're listing off because they want to know what is in a METAR. So I'm basically comparing it to these things. And yeah, I have it. Good, I got that right no matter what. Okay, and the next one was about lithium batteries. Okay, so I'm done. I have 13 minutes left. So I won't bore you with this, but I will go through all of my answers. And by the way, one other little tip. If the answers have very specific numbers in them that are off by a bit, look for answers that don't have specific numbers, because usually there's not a specific, a regulation doesn't have a specific number usually when related to something other than altitude or distances and things like that. So like Like if it's related to RPMs, for example, it's not going to say, oh, the regulation says you can't go more than 3,000 RPM. Oh, damn it. This was, okay, question 8 was the density altitude thing. I misread the question. It asks for worst, not best. I've gone the wrong way around. Density altitude. In my study guide, it says you want a lower density altitude for better performance. The best aircraft performance is in cold air, near sea level, high pressure. So the best is high pressure. And the higher the number of inches of mercury is the higher pressure. So you want, in this case, the worst performance. So it's the lowest number. Thank goodness I double checked. By the way, your questions will be different from these. They could be mixed up. They could be completely different questions. And even the answer order can switch from one taking of the exam to the next. So even if I rattled off everything here, it wouldn't be the same for you. Okay, and by the way, if you run out of time, it will just automatically finish. You don't have to jump in. I've got a minute left here. That's an easy one. I think I'm going to pass. I'm pretty confident about my answers. So feeling that I'm going to pass means that I am overconfident and I may have screwed things up. And it finished and it processed it immediately, and congratulations, you have passed. That's fantastic. Yay! Oh, what a relief. View your exam results is a link right underneath where it says congratulations, you've passed. So I'm going to look at my exam results. 84%. That's not terrific, to be perfectly honest. I got 2 wrong in air law, air traffic rules and procedures. I got 1 wrong in airframes, 1 wrong in human factors, 1 wrong in navigation, 2 wrong in flight operations, and 1 wrong in radio. Operation. Recall the requirements for operation in Class D airspace. Review the relevant information in 901.71 for radio communications. Review magnetic compass theory. So that's the one about where a compass should be calibrated. Review crew resource management techniques. So that's about that's the one where whatever you're supposed to do in the circumstance. I don't think I want to say it. Oh, I got all my weather questions right. Navigation. I got my CFS question wrong. What? That's not even possible. What is this one? Wildlife conservation. I don't remember anything about wildlife conservation. Oh, I didn't know that. There was a question, and I don't want to say too much, but basically bird strikes. Maybe you're supposed to report bird strikes? Is that true? And I screwed up on the flight termination stuff. Theory of flight. Apparently I know the theory. I got all those right. And radio, I got one of those wrong. Review how runways are numbered. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Oh, what an idiot. Oh my God. I can't believe what I did wrong there. Sorry, that one is just plain stupid. What a goofball. Anyway, that's just shameful because I actually had it right and then I changed it because of something else. Anyway, that's just hilarious. Anyway, so there you go. That's what it's like to take the exam. If you know your stuff, you can get through it and you'll have enough time to go over it and review your answers and make sure you're comfortable with them. I really recommend you write down a few things where you are unsure or you're guessing so that you can go back and check those ones. If you only have a little bit of time, you can only check those ones as a priority, then you do that. I'm still laughing about that. It's about runway numbering. You would not believe. I can't tell you. I wish I could tell you what I did wrong. It was so dumb. Anyway, yeah, so there you go. Hope this helps. May want to check it out, watch this, maybe skip through the boring bits, but I may want to watch this before you take your advanced exam to see what you should do in terms of preparation, reference material you should have open, and things like that. Thanks for watching, and I'll go and celebrate.